So this is the 3-Act Task website, and the tasks are organized by grade level, and then they're also within that organized by the standard that goes along with it. So one of the ones that my students love is the Where's the Beef, which is all about a hot dog eating contest. So it just really gets the kids' attention. They're just really engaged. I think it's kind of gross, but the kids think it's awesome. So when you open up the 3-Act tasks, this is what it looks like. There's 3 acts, 3 sections. When I'm first introducing these, I like to spread them out, spread one task out over the course of a week. So we'll do about 5 to 10 minutes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and this would take place of a number talk or other math meeting activity. So we'll start on Monday with Act 1. So on Monday, I would show them the video clip that goes with Act 1. So I'll just show you a quick clip of it. So they're watching a hot dog eating contest. There's some sound that goes with it as well, with some commentators. So we'll watch that video clip, and then we make an anchor chart, and I just make a simple T-chart, and on one side it says I wonder, and on one side it says I notice. And I have the kids tell me some things that they're wondering after watching the video clip and some things that they noticed. I really try not to rein them in on this, because sometimes, even though they can get a little silly, sometimes you'll get some thinking that is different than what you were expecting. When I tried to make them think just mathematically about what they wondered and what they noticed, I limited them too much, and they weren't able to come up with very good thoughts. So I don't really limit them on this. As we go through these, they'll start to predict what's coming, and some of your kids will naturally start going more mathematical with the things that they're wondering and the things that they're noticing. So we take just a couple of minutes and we write down maybe 3 or 4 wonders, 3 or 4 notices, and then I pose the question. So you can see here below the video clip, it says the question here. So we'll write that on the anchor chart. How many hot dogs and buns did Joey eat in 10 minutes? So they've only seen a 20-second clip or 30-second clip. So now they've got to try to figure out how much did he eat total in 10 minutes. And they're going to make an estimate. So we write the question down, and then I give them just a little bit of time to think to themselves about an estimate that would be too low, an estimate that would be just right, and an estimate that would be too high. And all of this is right here on the website. And then I do a quick think, pair, share. So they think about it, then they talk with a partner, and then I call on a few kids to share. Now for this, I do rein them in, because otherwise they get real silly with their estimates, and their too highs will be like 5 billion, and their too lows will be like -3. So I tell them that I want an estimate that is too high but still reasonable, and an estimate that's too low but still reasonable. So it can't be 0. We know he didn't eat 0 because we already saw him eat some. And then their estimates that are just right. And that's all we do on day 1. Then we move on to whatever we're doing for math that day. And I spread Act 2 out over the course of about 3 days, usually, depending on the complexity of the task. So for this one, on the second day, on Tuesday of that week, I will show the kids where it has the total weight of food consumed. So for this one, they give you a Word document that looks like this. I've printed it before, or I just display it up using my laptop. And we look at it and we talk about that. And then we will add onto our anchor chart a space with things that we know. So now we know that he's eating for 10 minutes, and we know that he ate a total of 8,694 grams of wet hot dog buns and the hot dogs. That doesn't really help us out a whole lot, but it at least gives us something that we know. And then if anybody wants to adjust their estimates based on that information, we can make some new estimates on our chart. That's really all we do on Tuesday, so it's pretty quick. We're just kind of revisiting what we've talked about, giving them a little snippet of information, but still also keeping them intrigued. Then we'll come back the next day and we will watch. This one has 2 other video clips in Act 2. So the first one shows them what the weight of a wet hot dog bun is. And I like this because they get to watch it, they're anticipating what's happening. They see about it getting put in the water, which gives some context to where it said the wet hot dog bun. And so we see that that is 8 grams. And then the second one does the hot dog. So he's going to take a hot dog out and he's going to put that one on the scale and we'll find out what the weight of one hot dog is. So once they've seen that much, we add to our section of our anchor chart for what we know. So now they have enough information to solve the problem mathematically at this point, but they haven't really had much time to process it. So my higher kids usually have an idea of how to do it, but most of my other students don't. So we add to our chart with what we know. So we know the total amount, we know 1 wet hot dog bun, and we know 1 hot dog. And we just kind of talk about that information. We put it up on the chart, and then that's it for Wednesday. Now my gifted students, my higher achieving students, they might go back and on their own time do the math and figure it out ahead of time, which is totally fine as long as they don't spoil it for somebody else. Nothing better than kids wanting to do math on their own time. But for everybody else, we will come back on Thursday and we'll review what we know. And then they work in pairs to try to solve, to figure out how many hot dogs he ate in 10 minutes using all the information that's been presented. And on that day, I walk around and I look and see who's figuring it out correctly. And I want the kids that are doing it right. I want to make sure that they have the right work and that they are able to explain it. And then I want them to have their work written somewhere on paper because I'm going to come back to that on Friday. So that's Thursday. So then on Friday we come back to Act 3. And at this point, I already know who solved it correctly because of what I've seen the day before, but the kids don't necessarily know yet who solved it correctly. So I love the third act because it's such a big reveal. So we watch this video clip and it's going to reveal how many hot dogs Joey Chestnut ate in the 10 minutes. And then the kids that did it right get to come and share out. I usually call them like 1 or 2 pairs that did it correctly that come and share their work of how they solved it. And then anyone that did it correctly, we can add their work up to our anchor chart. And that's how we do it. So we do this one over the span of about a week. So hopefully you can try it out in your classroom and